Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I've got another trying to fix something. So in this package here, I don't actually know what's in it. I think it's a PlayStation Portable, but I'm not too sure. Obviously, you've already read the title of this video, so you know what it is, so the surprise is just for me. And I'm hoping it is the PSP, because I love these little things. And I have had these apart in the past. Yep, that's definitely a PSP. Right, okay. Here it is. So, this is a PSP 1000. Now, let me just give you... And it's got a game in it. Dino Dash. Right, okay. Let me show you the eBay listing for it and show you how much I paid. Okay, so I've only paid £5 for this and then £3.50 postage, so £8.50 in total. There you go, Sony PSP console faulty, and the write-up just says... It says, PSP console for spares or repairs, screen not great condition, does have few scratches, one battery, I think is starting to swell, will probably remove this prior to posting unless you would like this item to be sent. There is a game inside, Dino Dash, also please see photo, selling for spares or repair. It didn't respond to controls. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to taking this apart and seeing exactly what's wrong with it. First impressions are, it actually looks okay. It looks better than I thought, but let's take a closer look. Right, okay, so screen, yeah, a few scratches on it. I wouldn't call that bad. A few scratches up here. Just have a quick feel of the buttons. Right, start isn't really clicking in properly. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, it's feeling better now. Right, so I think first things first, let's see if there's any battery in this. Yeah, there is. And it doesn't look like it's swelling to me. It's encased in plastic and it's supposed to be like a hump design on it. So yeah, unless he knows something that I don't know, that looks okay. Doesn't look like it's been tampered, which is a great sign. Can you see here? There's little screws under here, and this sticker looks like it hasn't been peeled back. So that's looking good. Let's see if there's any memory card, and there is. Okay, it's only a small one though. Okay, just 512 megabytes. But still, it's there. Right, let's turn this on and see if we have anything. Right, okay. Set up the time. Okay, well the D-pad works. I'm not sure if the analog stick works on this bit anyway. Right, let's just set the date. Well, it's an interesting first picture. Right, okay, the system software for your PSP is that. To start you must update to version that or later. Do you want to update now? Let's just go to no for the time being. You will need to update before you next use. Right, okay. I'm just going to whiz through all the different things just to see if they're working or not. I'm going to try and connect it to my Wi-Fi and then bring this up to date. Okay, so I've entered my details and now I'm just trying to update it. Okay, so I'm trying to update it, but it's just telling me that my battery is low, the battery level's low. So it's saying charge the battery and try again. So I'm just going to plug it in now to a charger. I already have a PSP, so although this didn't come with a charger, I have got them already. So let's see if it charges now. Ah, that doesn't feel right. No, you can see there, that's the problem, look. Can you see I'm having to force it in? Okay, and then only slight movement. It's not clicking into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep that held in there for a while now, give the battery some charge, and then try to update it, and then try to play some games and find out exactly what's wrong. So we already know that the charge port here is definitely faulty, so that will need to be looked at. But I want to obviously check the analog stick and the shoulder buttons and stuff. So I'm just going to leave it charge up for a while. Okay, so finally now it is now doing its update. So there you go, you can see it, 41%. Update completed. Press the X to restart. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to test all the buttons, including the shoulder buttons, and see what else is wrong with this, whether it's just the charging port down here or whether there's other things wrong with it as well. Also, I'm going to plug in some headphones into here and check the headphones. Okay, so the shoulder buttons are working. You can see the arrow moving here, and also press the L button. Yep. Volumes works fine. And also the headphones do as well. So I just have to check the analog stick now, so I'm just going to plug in another game. So the analog stick's working as well. So it looks like the only thing wrong with this is that charging port. Right, okay, so it actually appears to be fine. Also, the battery's holding its charge as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart, and then everything needs a really good clean. You can see here the dirt in the speakers and everything, and if you look up here, R and L, you can see how dirty it all is. So I'm going to take it all apart, give it a clean, and more importantly find out why this is not charging properly, because it's just far too loose. It looks like the wrong thing's been put in there in the past, and you can see it's just wanting to fall out. So it does charge, but you have to push it in a long way before it does. Well, let's take this thing apart. Well, I'm just going to take everything out of it. Right, it's just going to be another little screw just underneath this little sticker here. I'm just going to try to peel that one off gently. Right, okay, so there's one here and another one here. Right, okay, so I'll take them off in a little while and give all the buttons a clean. Right, and this is the power port down here, the charging jack. Right, I'm just going to dismantle it all because I want to get to the triggers up here anyway. I'm not sure if I can take this out without taking it all apart or not. You know, I've had these apart before, but I've completely forgotten how it all comes apart now. I can see that there's a little plastic tab just under here, so I think I'm going to move this ribbon cable out the way, and then I might be able to pop this side off, because if I don't have to take it all apart, because I only really wanted to clean the face buttons and also these L and R and the have a look at this jack here, so if I can just take out this right side here, I'll be happy with that. That came up nice and easy there. Okay, you can see the little thing there that you just have to move up here. Right, let me do that little plastic bit there. No, I'm really struggling here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Now, is there another? Oh, okay, yeah, so there's a ribbon cable at the back there as well. Right, so obviously that's not how you take that out. Now, it wasn't the correct way to take out this side bit here, but as long as I can get it back in, which I'm not sure I can yet, then I might not have to take it apart any further, because if you have a look here, what I want to do is, the central pin is okay, but if you look at the side bit there, that copper strip just down here is too flat, so I need to get something in there just to stick it out a little bit, and then it will grip the jack as you plug it in. So I'm just going to see if I've got anything small enough, like a little needle, that I can just get in there to poke that out a bit. Okay, so I've found a little needle, and I'm just going to try to get that out a bit more towards the central conductor. It's a bit better, but it's still not gripping it properly. Oh, here we go, I can actually pull it out. Didn't realise that. That needs a header for clean up as well. Let's see if I can get out the other one as well. Right, okay, that's both of them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bend it back into shape, because I think what should happen is when you put this in here, that one should go there like that, and then this one should contact the outer bit there. But it feels nice and grippy now when I'm doing it there. Maybe it's the central pin that actually does the gripping, so maybe I just need to widen out the little bit of the central pin. Maybe with this one here, it's just designed just to rest against it, and it's the central pin that does the gripping. So I'm just going to give this a good clean up, because it does look quite dirty and corroded, because obviously these are getting quite old now. Right, I'm going to put it back into here, and I'm wondering whether that central conductor was just pushed in a little bit now, because it all kind of looks okay. So I'm thinking, because it fits perfectly when I actually plug the charger into it, like that, you can see that goes in nice. You see that's gripping it. I'm wondering whether it just went in about that much, and that's why it was struggling, because it wasn't making a full-on connection. So I'm going to make sure when I push this in, it goes right the way to the very end. Right, annoyingly I've managed to snap that, so I'm going to have to solder that back on. So I might as well just try and get it in properly now while it's off, and then I'll have to get the soldering iron out. It hasn't gone in as nice as it was before. It's kind of in at an angle in there. I'm going to see how that feels now. Ah, that's better. Look at that now, it goes right the way in. So now I'll just have to solder that wire on, and then see if we can get this little board back without having to dismantle everything else. I'm happy with that. That feels correct. I'm going to try to move this little heat shrink up a little bit and then pull it down once I've done the soldering. Okay, they've both come off now. So with all that wiggling, both the wires have now removed themselves. So I've now got a bit of soldering to do. I'm going to struggle on this one now because this one there's very little to actually solder onto. Right, looks like I've got a little bit of slack, which is good, so I'm going to cut a little bit back. So I'm just going to give this a good clean. So I'm just going to solder this on. Right, I'm just going to try to drop a little bit of solder actually into that yellow plastic hole, just to lessen the chance of them coming out again. You know, I don't want the metal prong things to come out this way. Now I've got to do this central conductor. Now part of the metal actually broke off from the middle prong, so I'm just going to try to put it into the actual hole. Luckily it looks like there is a bit of slack on the wires here, so it should be okay. Alright, so they're soldered on now. Obviously it looks a bit of a bodge job because I'm not very good at soldering, but I'm hoping the strength will be there now. Now I might struggle here because there's a little groove for the wire to go on, and the wire's a little bit tight. There we go. Right, so it should be okay. The wires are in the grooves again here now, you see. Now I'm going to do this up and then check if it still feels okay. Yeah, it definitely feels better now. Yeah, okay. Right, so I'm going to try and get this board back on, and then I'm going to see how much room I've got, because I would like to put a bit of glue or something in here just to stop them from pushing up again. So now I'm going to have the really awkward job of trying to get this ribbon cable back in like this. If I can do this without taking it apart, I would really prefer it. So that's the ribbon cable here. So I'm going to try to rest it up by the screen. I'm going to have that in the open position. You can see there, I'm going to open it, and then hopefully when it's in I can flatten it down. That's it. I think that's in, so I'm going to have it nearly flat there, and then I'm just going to push that thing over. There we go. Excellent. Right, okay, I thought that would be really hard to do, but it wasn't. You can see it's in there now. That's in. So now we've got to get this little ribbon cable in here. Okay, so that's in. Now I just need to put the little lever down. There we go. Right, before we go any further, before I clean anything up or put any glue in there, I'm going to now see if it's still charging. There we go, it's gone to orange, green, orange, green, orange, green. So I think that's going to be okay. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Right, so I've got to give this screen a really good clean, and then I've got to clean up all the buttons and everything. And as well as that, I want to just have a little look at this back thing here, because you can see it's not much, but just ever so slightly loose. I want to see if I can get that in a little bit further. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some super glue into here, because I want all this mess here to be glued together. You see where all the solder was on this yellow thing here? I want it all to be glued, because I don't want that prong to get pushed up again. So I'm going to drop some super glue in there, and then I'm going to clean everything up. So cleaning up should be nice and straightforward. I'm just going to pull this out here, take this out, and now you can see all the dirt in here. I'm going to give all that a clean. And here, all these dirty buttons, look at the state of that one there. And I'm just going to undo that analog stick. They just pop out at the front. Really need to make sure we remember to clean the screen and the inside of the glass here, because there's no way to get to the fingerprints afterwards. But apart from the dirt, it all seems to be in okay condition. Right, let me clean it all up. I'm going to get a nice bowl of soapy warm water now, and then give everything a clean to get rid of all this crud from everywhere. I'm just using a toothbrush to give everything a good clean. Obviously an old toothbrush, you don't want to be using this again when you have all this dead skin and grime and dirt and sweat and everything else on here. I'm not going to rub the toothbrush over the actual screen itself, because I don't want any more scratches on it. I'm just going to use a nice soft cloth afterwards to clean the screen. With these bottom buttons, you don't have to take it all off, because it's just joined in the middle there, so just let them go loose and just clean in here, because that's where the grime is going to be. And then you can just afterwards just clean the actual buttons themselves. Rinse this out with clean water now, and then I'm just going to towel dry it, and then finally dry it with a hairdryer to make sure every bit of dampness is gone. I'm just cleaned up the screen with a soft cloth, because once we put it back together I'll have to take it apart again if I notice any dirt in there. About the outside, because I will do that when we're all finished. Right, so now we have to put the buttons back in, but the good thing is it is like idiot proof, because for example if you weren't sure where the X goes, it only actually fits in one space. So for example it's not going to fit up here. They've got little grooves on them to allow you to only put them in one way. You see, like that. Right, now I've got to try and get these R and L back in again. Okay, that was nice and easy. And likewise. Right, okay. Before I do up the final screws, I just want to pop the battery in just to see if the screen looks okay. Make sure it's not full of fingerprints. Yeah, I think it looks okay, so I'm going to do them up now. Pop the memory card back in, and I'm just going to put this security sticker back on. And lastly, I want to try to get this sitting in better. If you have a look now, it's not bad, but if you look, it looks a little bit raised just here. Can you see there? We're going to slot a little needle just in there, and then I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on the actual metal frame here. Careful not to bend it completely out of shape. And again, I'm just going to do the same on this side. Oh, that was lucky, I broke my needle. Luckily the bit came out. Right, let's try that again. Right. Okay. Don't really think that's made a difference. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that any better. Not sure if it's any bit better. It might be a little bit. Not sure. Right, okay, let's pop the battery in and then do our final test. Let's get the charger and plug it in. Yeah, it feels nice and firm now, and you can see the lights coming on. You see it needs quite a bit of resistance to pull out now. So that must be the central pin that does the actual gripping then. Yeah, I'm happy with that, that feels normal. So now when you're playing that, that's not going to fall out. Right, let's turn it on. There we go, that looks a little bit better. Right, okay. So everything's looking good, isn't it? Now let's play a game. There you go, you see it's playing perfectly. And remember as well, of course, we can do movies on this as well. So let's pop in the Goonies. Now on this particular model you can't connect it up to the TV, but if you go for the 2000 or 3000 then you can. So this is the 1000, so this is the original one. Let's get rid of this cable now. So if you were to get the other ones, then they do connect up to the TV. Also the later ones, the 3000 has a better screen as well. What's nice about this is that it's just really well made. It's lovely quality, it really is. Sony must have pumped so much money into this. It's such a great design. So that's why a lot of people like the 1000. But really I suppose if you were getting one, the 3000 is a good bet because you can connect it up to the TV, and also it's got a better screen as well. Right. Oh, I wanted to pause it on that bit. Oh, I missed it again, never mind. Right, okay, so that's the Goonies. Now, I think this here is a complete bargain for £8.50 for this, and including the game as well. And with just a little bit of elbow grease, it's cleaned up lovely. So you can see now there's no more grime around the place, and I didn't have to spend any money, just time fixing that port down there. So if you look at it closely now, it really has come up very well. We've got a few little scratches to the screen at the very top, and also we've got a scrape and a bash on this select and start down here. Slight little hairline crack in between the triangle and the circle. It's not a crack that's going to weaken anything, it's just where the paint's come away on the inside. But if you look at it, it's come up nearly perfect. So you'd be more than happy to play this now. You wouldn't feel like you'd have to wash your hands every few minutes after playing it. So I don't know about battery life yet because I haven't had it long enough, but it certainly seems to be holding its charge. But even if it does fail, it's not a problem because you can get them off eBay so cheaply, just like any other spare on here. If you want a new analog stick or a little cap, it's all on eBay. Remember, these are all getting broken up all the time for spares, so there's loads to choose from. So hopefully you will have enjoyed that video. I think it went quite well today. Didn't have to spend any money on it. And yeah, quite enjoyable. So if you did, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more fix-it videos like this and also more how-to videos as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Bye now.